As co-founder and CEO of Tesla Motors and SpaceX, and founder of The Boring Company and Neuralink, Elon Musk might just be one of the world's busiest entrepreneurs. There's no denying that Musk's workaholic habits have had a huge impact on the world and yielded tremendous results. In a statement, Tesla's board said over the past 15 years, Elon's leadership of the Tesla team has caused Tesla to grow from a small startup to having hundreds of thousands of cars on the road that customers love, employing tens of thousands of people around the world, and creating significant shareholder value in the process. Elon Musk's daily routine can be summed up as work, eat, sleep, with work taking up a bulk of that time. With a bedtime of around 1 a.m., it seems to be a great divide between business tycoons as to how much sleep is needed to stay on top of their game. He says 6 hours is his sweet spot, although he doesn't rise early as we might think. After a long, hard day of work, he says that he often only gets to the bed often past midnight. He usually sets his alarm for 7 a.m., but doesn't jump into exercise or coffee or stick to the newspaper after waking up. Musk prefers to watch what he calls critical email for his first half hour of consciousness. Musk said in a 2015 Reddit AMA, "Sleep is really great. I find that if I don't get enough sleep, I'm quite grumpy. I could drop below a certain threshold of sleep, but although I would be awake, I would get less done because my mental acuity would be affected." While Musk will usually skip breakfast to save time, although he will occasionally grab a coffee and an omelet, there's one daily habit that he'll always find time for: showering, which he attributes to the source of many ideas. Afternoon. You might find it odd that a man worth $36.7 billion would be making school runs, but it's not at all that strange when you find out that his 5 boys are at school at his SpaceX campus. In 2014, Musk pulled out all of his children out of their private educations and co-founded an entirely new school for them to attend. He didn't believe in the current schooling system in the US to be adequate or effective, so he decided to design one for himself, calling it Ad Astra School, after the Latin phrase for "to the stars." The school has just 30 students, mostly made up of SpaceX employees' children. In terms of fitness, Musk confessed to Joe Rogan, "I wouldn't exercise at all if I could," although he does spend some time lifting weights and running on the treadmill while watching TV. He also dabbles in Taekwondo, karate, judo, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. How Elon manages his busy schedule. The majority of Musk's work hours, at least 90% according to Quartz, are split between Tesla and SpaceX, while the rest of that time he spent on other ventures where he's a co-founder, investor, or executive. In a December 2019 tweet, Musk said that 90% of his time at SpaceX and 60% of his time at Tesla is spent on design and engineering. In the early days of Tesla and SpaceX, Musk reported working up to 180 hours a week, which sometimes saw him catching his rest on the factory floor. That schedule took a toll on his mental state and general health for obvious reasons, so now he sticks to around 80 to 90 hours a week at maximum. Now, this is still double the average of 40 hours a week most people do. To make his working weeks more manageable, he chose to part his time into 5-minute slots. He says many people would be surprised at how much they could achieve in such small amounts of time when they give the task at hand 100% of their attention. Musk split his work between both of his companies, spending Mondays and Fridays at SpaceX and Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at Tesla. Productive mentality. When it comes to productivity for himself and his employees, Musk is well known for his ruthless efficiency. In a 2018 email sent out to Tesla employees, Musk outlined some of his recommendations for conducting efficient meetings, saying, quote, "Excessive meetings are the blight of big companies and almost always get worse over time. Please get rid of all large meetings unless you're certain they're providing value to the whole audience, in which case keep them very short." He also said to get rid of frequent meetings unless you're dealing with an extremely urgent matter. Meeting frequency should drop rapidly once the urgent matter is resolved. Also adding to walk out of a meeting or drop off a call as soon as it's obvious that you aren't adding value. It's not rude to leave. It's rude to make someone stay and waste their time. In the same email, Musk also told employees to avoid using acronyms or nonsense words for objects, software, or processes at Tesla, and encouraged the free flow of information between all levels, no matter the employee's role or department. While Musk has seemingly embraced his workaholic habits and long hours, everyone has a breaking point. And in 2018, it appears that the breaking point was getting dangerously close for him. In a New York Times profile, Musk detailed work weeks of up to 120 hours, saying, quote, "There were times when I didn't leave the factory for 3 or 4 days, days when I didn't go outside." He also added, "This has really come at the expense of seeing my kids and seeing friends." In a Recode Decode interview with Kara Swisher, Musk talked about the difficult times in more detail, saying, quote, "I would just sort of sleep for a few hours, work, sleep for a few hours, work, 7 days a week. Some of those days must have been 120 hours or something nutty." Fortunately for Musk, the days of 120-hour work weeks are over for now, and he's back to 80 or 90 hours, which he says is pretty sustainable. More recently, it seems that Musk is in a much better place work-life balance-wise. In a conversation with Maureen Dowd for the New York Times, he spoke about spending time with his partner, Grimes, and catching up on anime, particularly Death Note and Evangelion, and listening to history audiobooks and podcasts. When asked about how he managed to find time to spend with his children, given his immense working hours, Musk replied, "Right now, there's not much to do. Grimes has a much bigger role than me right now. When the kids get older, there will be more of a role for me. I think just doing what I've done for my other kids. If I have a trip for Tesla to China, for example, I'll bring the kids with me, and we'll go see the Great Wall, or we took the bullet train from Beijing to Xi'an and saw the Terracotta Warriors." Elon has been following this routine for years, and it has made him one of the most successful entrepreneurs out there. Tell us what you found interesting about Elon's routine in the comments below. The Tesla and SpaceX entrepreneur Elon Musk was pushed into the top slot after Tesla's share price increased on Thursday. He takes the top spot from Amazon's founder Jeff Bezos, who held it since 2017. Musk is now worth around $188 billion. Mr. Musk's electric car company, Tesla, has surged in value this year and hit a market value of $700 billion for the first time on Wednesday. That makes the car company worth more than Toyota, Volkswagen, Hyundai, GM, and Ford combined. Get strapped in, because today we're going to answer how Elon Musk became the richest person in the world. Humble beginnings. Musk was born to a Canadian mother and a South African father and raised in Pretoria, South Africa. After leaving South Africa in 1988, Musk spent time working a series of odd jobs around Canada. Musk first tended vegetables and shoveled out grain bins in his cousin's farm in Waldeck, and then learned how to cut logs with a chainsaw in Vancouver. After a visit to the unemployment office, he inquired about the job with the best wage, which turned out to be a gig cleaning the boiler room of a lumber mill. For $18 an hour, a great wage in 1989, the grueling work involved wearing a hazmat suit, crawling through small spaces, and shoveling residue in extremely high temperature conditions, according to Musk. Not long after, he landed an internship with the Bank of Nova Scotia by cold calling a top executive to meet for lunch. After reuniting with his brother Kimball in Canada, the two determined brothers researched business people that they wanted to meet and took turns making cold calls to ask if they could have lunch. One such businessman was Peter Nicholson, a top executive at the Bank of Nova Scotia, who was fascinated with the boys' initiative. Upon meeting them, he was so impressed with Elon, the geekier of the two brothers, that he became his first mentor and offered him a summer internship at the bank for $14 an hour. To earn extra cash, Musk sold computer parts and full PCs out of his dorm room. While at Queen's University in Ontario, Musk had a profitable side hustle for a time. He sold entire computers, as well as various hardware parts, from the comfort of his dorm room. He would build whatever suited the needs of his fellow students, like a tricked-out gaming computer or, for example, a simple word processor. As Musk described, if their computer didn't boot properly or had a virus, I'd fix it. I could pretty much solve any problem. Not bad for a guy who would eventually become the inspiration for Tony Stark in Iron Man. He paid for rent in college by converting his house into a nightclub. After transferring to the University of Pennsylvania in 1992, Musk quickly put his entrepreneurial instincts to good use. He and a friend moved into a 10-bedroom frat house off campus for relatively cheap. During the week, the two of them would study, but on weekends, they turned the place into a full-out, unlicensed speakeasy, according to his roommate, Adeo Resi. This included covering the windows with black trash bags and the walls with bright paint. Musk, who was never big on drinking except for the occasional vodka and Diet Coke, would stay sober for these events to keep things under control. He would run parties, and as he explained, "I was paying my own way through college and could make an entire month's rent in one night." Once, his mother maybe even worked the door at one of the big parties. In 1995, Musk quit graduate school at Stanford University to co-found an internet startup. Despite getting accepted to a Stanford PhD program, Musk forewent the tuition costs when he decided after 2 days that the internet had far greater promise to change society. He immediately dropped out and teamed up with his brother Kimball and started Zip2, a company that provided maps and directories to online newspapers. To start the venture, they used $28,000 out of their father's bank account. Rags to riches. He first became a millionaire 4 years later when he and his brother sold Zip2. It was bought by early PC company Compaq in 1999, who became the leading supplier of PC systems until it was overtaken and bought out by HP in 2002. The Zip2 deal amounted to $307 million. Musk's share of the proceeds was a tidy sum of $22 million. Musk scored a net return of over $165 million after his financial services company, XCOM, merged with PayPal, which was bought by eBay. Soon after the sale of Zip2, Musk invested $12 million of his own money into co-founding XCOM, which he envisioned as the future of online banking. In early 2000, XCOM merged with its rival, Confinity, and the company was renamed PayPal. As the majority shareholder, Musk was ousted as CEO amid protracted boardroom squabbling. PayPal then accepted eBay's offer to be bought in July 2002, against Musk's advice. After the $1.5 billion deal finally went through, he came away with $180 million after taxes. Elon joins Tesla. Elon has founded countless companies since amassing his wealth through PayPal. Some examples are SpaceX, SolarCity, Neuralink, and The Boring Company. However, none have come close to the wealth he has generated through Tesla. He joined Tesla in 2004, the year after it was founded, becoming its product architect that year and becoming the company's CEO in 2008. That same year, Tesla launched its first car and sports car, the Roadster. The summary for the Roadster reveals that the company has always been focused on the mechanics of the car as much as the design. High performance, as defined in the executive summary, included going from 0 to 60 in less than 3.9 seconds, and zero maintenance for up to 100,000 miles other than tires. Tesla, as part of its secret to success, continues to focus on creating electric cars and making EV powertrain systems and components. The company has a network of 80 stores and galleries across North America, Europe, and Asia, and over 100 charging stations in the US. One of the company's trademarks in success is focusing on one product at a time. It is constantly rolling out new models to expand its customer base. In order to move with the changing times, Tesla has tried to launch new products that aim to target a wider range of customers, which was delivered through the Model 3. To stay competitive in the niche market, Tesla Motors has expanded its manufacturing footprint in the Netherlands and Lathrop, California. To keep costs down on lithium-ion battery packs, Tesla and key strategic partners, including Panasonic, will facilitate the production of a mass-market, affordable vehicle. As with anything in life and business, there are no guarantees. The reality is that 12 years since incorporating, Tesla has morphed from a startup to an established industry player. Tesla has continued to deliver on their promises of high-performance, yet affordable vehicles, which allowed them to establish a massive fan base. Tesla's stock was added to the S&P 500 last month. Musk's rise to the top of the rich list comes as the nation's billionaires have seen their fortunes surge by more than $1 trillion through the pandemic, thanks in part to a strong stock market fueled by investor expectations for an economic recovery in 2021. Recently, as of Thursday, Elon Musk surpassed Amazon.com founder Jeff Bezos as the world's richest person. A jump in the price of Tesla stock lifted the value of his wealth on paper to more than $188 billion. Tesla shares rose more than 7% on Thursday, helping push Musk's net worth to $1.5 billion above Bezos' fortune. The company's value share is greater than that of Ford, GM, Volkswagen, and Toyota combined. Shares of the electric car maker have enjoyed a spectacular run in the past year, surging almost 800% from about $92 a year ago to more than $811 in Thursday's trading. Responding to a Twitter account that pointed out how he was now the world's richest person, Musk responded, "How strange." He later added, "Well, back to work." What could the future look like for Elon Musk? Tell us in the comments below.